What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang from wagertalk.com and themoneyballer.com. Got three games in the W today, and then we'll talk about some MLB games as well. I see a couple people. Actually, I see Mark put up Twins and Padres games. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll go through all three WNBA games. Yesterday, I believe I went 1-1 in the W. A couple of live bets that I took ended up losing though, so uh, not a good Sunday for me. The Sparks team total over. I should have just stuck with that one, but hopefully we get on the right track today. There's a couple of games that I do like, and then one maybe we can get there. The first one, Fever and Dream, maybe we can get a play on that one. I think Munaf said he'll be able to join me for the MLB section, so um, hopefully he hops on in a second. But let me share my screen here and we'll go over the WNBA. All right, so Fever Dream here. We have, I think this line actually moved. Let me just double check here. Oh, it shifted home. So it's at 1.5. I think last night it was at 2.5. So it's come down a little bit towards the Dream side. Total is at 168, up from 166 last night. We have a lot of situational notes that back the Dream here. So, the line movement, the situational notes agree with that. The model also agrees with it as well towards the Dream side. If you look at schedule, this is just the fourth game for the Fever. This is the fifth game for the Dream. Dream coming out back-to-back games against the Mercury. They ended up losing the second game by just 2 points. I was on the right side of this one by a half point. I had the Mercury team total under. I really like Atlanta's defense coming out of the Olympic break. Fever side, Fever lost to Minnesota. I was also on the right side of that one as well. We took Minnesota in the first half of that one. Historical matchups, two matchups so far this season, and the Fever took care of both of them. So one outright in both of them, also covered both. Both games went to the over as well. You can see the total kind of shaded up from the previous matchups, and that was like a couple months ago. So let's look at some of the stats here on the season. Actually, let's just pull up since the All-Star break because a lot of things really kind of shifted. All right, so Fever 3 games, Dream 4 games since the Olympic break. There, you can see the defense. That's kind of what I was talking about with the team total unders for their opponents because of their defense has stepped up. They're also the pace of play has been solid as well. On this side, though, the Fever, their offense has been on point since the All-Star break, since the Olympic break. You can see who they faced. They did face Minnesota, faced Seattle, faced Phoenix. Minnesota's defense is normally pretty solid, and then Seattle's defense also is pretty solid as well. Phoenix, not so much, but the Fever were able to put up solid points, solid numbers against these top defenses here. And their pace of play is up there. If you look at the four factors, you can see effective field goal percentage for the Fever, number one in the league right now. Since the Olympic break, you see the defense for the Dream pretty solid as well. Free throw rate, Dream getting to the line a lot, so they're getting some extra opportunities there. You can see the Fever not going to the line much at all. I think it's mainly because of where their opportunities are coming from, and it's mainly from the 3-point line. And then offensive rebound, both offensively and defensively, actually is pretty even in my opinion. Fever do a good job of taking care of the ball, but they don't force a lot of turnovers. If you look at scoring, you can see that 74 points. That's, like I said, their defense is solid and the pace of play is really low, but also their offense is down towards the bottom of the league as well. But that should come up against a Fever team that kind of struggles on the defensive side of the ball. If you look at second chance points, that might be an opportunity for the Fever to take advantage of it. If you look at the within the arc, so you can see efficiency, both offensive and defensive. The Fever definitely have the edge there. If you look at mid range, the Dream take a lot of mid range attempts, but they're 12th, dead last in field goal percentage from there. So they're gonna have to really improve from there if they want to, continue to if they want to prove that they're a mid range team, because obviously they're taking a lot of opportunities there. If you look at the three point shooting, this is where I think the Fever make take most of their attempts. So above the break three is number one in the league in attempts, third in above the break three field goal percentage. You can see defense just sort of towards the middle of the pack here. So Fever threes could be something to look at today. If we look at the records, straight up records, you can see 2-1 straight up on the full game, 3-1 for the Dream. They've been playing really well since the Olympic break. And then ATS wise, you can see Fever in the first half, Dream on the full game. And if we look at the over under records, kind of opposite on the first half. I mean, nothing really significant on either side here. But you can see here the team total is 2-1 to the over, 3-1 to the over. And you could tell the Dream defense showing up with opponents going under their team total there. So for me, I was actually looking towards initially towards the Fever side, but I just couldn't get there just because there's also this look ahead to Connecticut. They didn't really have to travel too far coming from Minnesota to Atlanta, but I mean that's this is somewhat to me a sort of sandwich game because they just faced another top tier team in the Lynx, and we know that the Dream are really trying to keep up and stay in the playoff hunt. So they have a lot of motivation, and you could tell by how they've been playing defense. Ski. No, I said I was gonna be an hour late. At least I tell people the right time. You were an hour and 10 minutes late, so you still can't do nothing about it. All right, so for me, I would lean towards the Fever on the full game. From a defensive, from a total perspective, I'll probably just stay away just because there's, I mean, Fever's offense is solid. Dream's defense has been pretty good, so there's nothing really significant on the total side. If we go to Liberty and Phoenix, Liberty and Mercury, I did take a play on this one. I went with the Mercury on this side. There's a few reasons why, just because there's a travel situation here. New York, from playing in New York, going to Phoenix, going cross country. Then on the Phoenix side, they did come from Atlanta, but they didn't really have to travel too much because they were there for two straight games, and they have an extra day of rest from that previous matchup as well. And then if you look at historic matchups, Phoenix actually covered both instances by double digits. So this could be sort of a matchup type of thing for the Mercury with Griner in the post and all that stuff too. So those are a couple things as far as schedule and historical matchup. If you look at Olympic break, 5 games each for both of these teams, you can see the offense and defensive ratings pretty solid for the Liberty. Mercury's defense has been struggling a little bit. Their pace of play is a little bit low. You can see if effective field goal percentage, both really strong here towards the top half of the league. Free throw rate, edge towards the Mercury on both sides. And then the rebounds goes towards the Liberty. I think that the Mercury really struggle on the defensive side of the ball as far as like rebounding throughout the whole season, even with BG, which is interesting to me. And then both teams take care of the ball pretty well, but Mercury dead last in forcing turnovers. If you look at scoring, Mercury kind of struggling here, and they faced the Dream twice, and we talked about how their defense has really stepped up. They also played Chicago. They played pretty well there. Fever, they scored well there, and then they struggled. They played pretty well against Chicago in the first game back. So they played Chicago twice. If we look towards inside the arc, both doing really well as far as efficiency numbers and mid range as well. So second in field goal percentage from the mid range, first in defending it. But Liberty not a strong mid range team. They don't shoot a lot. It's really the 3-point shooting, and you can see here the above the break three defense, second in the league, and then sixth over here in the corner three. Records 4-1 straight up for the Liberty since the break. ATS wise, nothing really significant or anything that pops out. Interesting thing here is they've been less rested than their opponent than twice already in 5 games, and they've covered both instances. Over unders, we talked about the Liberty defense, so that's the reason, a big reason why 4-1 to the under there. One instance as a road favorite went over, and you can see right there, opponent team totals 5-0 to the under. But if you look towards the home road splits, and I want to pull in, let's just say last 10 games for home and road. You can see how big of a difference their Mercury's defense is and how great their offense is. Number one in offensive rating for in home games. And if you look towards the numbers here, 7-3 straight up. And then if you look at ATS 8-2 ATS for both of them, 4-1 as home dogs. You can see here both doing really well in your positive and negative rest or whatever you want to call it. Overs in the first, unders in the first half for the Liberty, over team total in the for the Mercury side, and then unders for the opponent team total for the Liberty last 10 on the road. So their defense really shows up. But I'm expecting the travel situation to be an issue, and I can see that the Phoenix and Mercury actually play the Liberty really well, both times covering it in these instances. So I would actually look towards the Mercury again. I did take that one at +5. And the last game on the board here, I think this is at 10 now. It actually hit 10.5 at one point earlier this morning, but it's back down to 10. And they're still at 10.5 at DraftKings, and the total's at 161.5. You actually see a 161 at Bookmaker. Some situational notes for each team here that back and fade each team. Schedule wise, so Storm has a huge rest advantage here, about 5 or 6 days of rest. The last time they played each other, they were in Washington, and then there was a game in between for the Mystics here. They played the Sparks in between their two matchups. Historically, this is the 4th game of the season playing each other, and it looks like Seattle covered 2, and then Washington covered by a half point here. If we look at, let's look at since the Olympic break, because we know since the Olympic break, the Mystics had majority of their team back, Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin, and that's why their defense has really stepped up for the most part. Their pace of play is pretty quick, more faster than what I really wanted, because I ended up taking the under here. But for the most part, it's mainly because of the defenses here. Both teams top 5 in defensive rating since the Olympic break. You can see here Mystics first in effective field goal percentage allowed, and then the Storm, their offense hasn't been shooting that great. Defensive numbers here, turnover rate forced. So both teams turning the ball over at a high rate and then forcing turnovers at a high rate. So a lot of time being wasted when these they run the clock and then turnovers end up happening. And then both teams not really going to the free throw line too efficiently either. Well, I guess the Mystics have been. Scoring wise, you can see here 5th in the league in points per game allowed, but 11th in points per game. So really looking towards the under there. Some spots where the Storm can take advantage is points off turnovers, but I think one thing that I saw earlier is they're not that far off in turnover rate force. They're just not making the shots. So there's a chance that the Mystics actually take advantage of these points off turnovers in today's game. And if we look at within the arc, paint field goal percentage allowed, Storm really great there, but it's not like the Mystics live in the paint. Mid range is where they get a lot of attempts in. They're shooting pretty well there, and the Storm mid-range 8th in field goal percentage allowed. And if you look at 3-point shooting, a lot of shots above the break. They're 3rd in attempts above the break threes, not making them at a high rate. But look at the Storm's defense, dead last in above the break 3 field goal percentage allowed. So that might be something that we see the Mystics kind of be successful at today. Also at the corners, I mean, they're not shooting a bunch from the corner, but they're hitting them pretty efficiently. So we know the Mystics can shoot their threes. From the ATS perspective, first half Mystics usually a good spot, but since the break 1-3, and then the opposite here for the Storm. But look at the full games 0-3 ATS since the break, and then a lot of unders from both sides, especially in that first half. And then if you look at team totals, unders in the first half, 4-0 to the under, 3-1 to the under on the full game. Then the Storm 3-0 to the under as well. So full game for both teams, looking towards the team total under, which is why I took the full game under. I also like the Mystics on the spread here. And one thing that I want to, before we go to the bases, one quick trend that really kind of pointed me in the direction here is 2020. I think it was 3, 2 maybe. Hold on, I gotta check this real quick. Oh, maybe it was road favorite. One second, I wrote it down. I'll get it real quick. But it's a huge trend that backs the Mystics here. All right, so 3-14-1 says to fade the Storm here, ATS. So this is since 2020. If they're really rested, so at least 5 days of rest or more, and they have more than 3 days rest advantage over their opponent, and then they're a home favorite. So this is something that, like I would say, rest versus rust. This is just too many days of rest for the Storm here, coming from a road game to the home game. And then also another factor is having Gabby coming back to the lineup. And she's been with the Storm before, so she kind of knows the offense and all that stuff. But at the same time, she hasn't played with Skylar or NECA either. So there's going to be some adjustment period. I don't know how many games that would be. I would expect at least this game here to be one of them. So I took the Mystics as well on the side. So that's the W. And we'll talk about the MLB. Let's bring Munaf up here. What up, Munaf? Oh, you're on mute, bro.
Yeah, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Shit, my lights and everything were flickering. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Chilling. I had a busy morning, so I had to do the show an hour late. But glad you can hop on. I literally just texted you 5 minutes before I was going, and so I can't do baseball by myself. It's really tough to do by myself. I go through them so quickly, but I really want to get more details. And that's why I like having you on, because you kind of see things at a different lens as well. But let's go through the games. I know Mark mentioned Twins game and Padres game, so let's start off with that. Where's Minnesota? So we got Braves Twins. Oh wait, didn't you take something in this one? I think you texted me yesterday. Yeah. So Braves Twins here. Fried versus Ober. Slight advantage to the Braves on the rating systems. But we got the Twins coming off a late loss yesterday. First game of the series. Braves coming first game on the road as well. So that's a spot. And then Minnesota's been at home. Lost yesterday to the Cardinals. Braves lost yesterday to the Nationals. I mean, their offense hasn't looked that great for the most part of the last week or so. Let's look at last 5 starts here. Fried, I mean, he's been consistently giving up runs. He did have a pretty decent start in his last one against Philly, but Philly's offense kind of been struggling lately, and he has some control issues here. And then Ober, I mean, he has control issues too. Had 0 walks in his last start, though. Gave up 3 earned runs. So a little bit more consistency as far as like pitching well for Ober. If we look at splits on the season, 13-10 straight up, 13-9 straight up for Fried. A lot of unders, pointing towards the unders here. Splits versus left-handed pitchers. Twins doing pretty well, especially in the first five, 20, 14-3, 4-2 as home dogs. Nothing really significant on the Brave side versus right-handed pitchers, except you can see unders right here. 57, 29, and 4 to the under in the full game versus right-handed pitchers. And then also in the spot as road favorites, 16, 8, and 4 to the under, 16, 7, and 3 on the first five to the under. Let's look at last 30. Bring that down. Ober doing really well right here. That kind of correlates with all the last five starts. 4-1 straight up, 4-0-1 in the first five. Unders for Ober as well. That shows his consistency pitching. Nothing really significant from the trends here, except for this is still 12-7 to the under full game, but road favorite is 3-2. Bats, pretty even when it comes to the bats. Braves do strike out at a much higher rate though, and Ober is a pretty decent strikeout pitcher. Negative regression, a little bit of negative regression for Ober, some positive for Max Fried. If we look towards the bullpen, I think there's a positive regression for both of these teams here. For me, it doesn't. I mean, I don't see a significant edge either way. I mean, surface numbers say Ober should have the advantage here. Even if there is negative regression, even these advanced numbers are still pretty solid towards Ober. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like the twin side here, RC. Especially what you mentioned about Billy Ober being at home. You take a look at his home and road splits, just how the Twins have done in those spots. It's very overwhelming towards how well they've done at home with Bailey Ober. 10 starts he's made at home for the Twins, 7-3 straight up in those spots. Take a look at on the road, 14 starts, just 7-7. So just right at 500 on the road. But also the fact you take a look at the Twins against starting left-handed pitchers, they've been really, really good, especially at home here. And I like the spot here for them to be at home, coming off a loss at home, so no travel for them. Obviously, Atlanta traveling. I think they were at home this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah, they were at home, traveling up to Minnesota. So bit of a travel there for the Atlanta Braves. So I do like the Twins here. I got them at around minus 106, minus 107 last night. Seems like a little bit of money coming on the Twins. I see it up to like around minus 120, minus 122 right now.
Gotcha. So we have GB Bets put up a trend that kind of goes against the Twins here. This says Twins when they've gone 3 straight games to the under. It looks like their offense tends to struggle in the spot. I'm not really sure how to take that trend. Just if it was like the same pitcher or whatever it might be, I think I would think that it tells a little bit more of a story. But this one's really tough for me to back. Not like just not really sure how it correlates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my opinion. But I mean, that kind of just points towards fading the Twins there. When I wanted to look at Braves' first game when they had to travel, so home to road. First 5, they've been pretty solid, 5-2-2, just 5-4 straight up. So nothing really significant there. Did you have a look towards a total at all?
I lean towards the under with the Twins, especially at home. I didn't see anything significant there, but I want to say Michael Harris, one of the bats that they did get back for the Braves, that he left the game on Sunday. So that's another bat that they just got back and they're going to lose. Austin Riley's already out. And obviously we already know Ronald Acuna is out as well. So they're trying to get a little bit thin on the offensive side. I wasn't surprised. They weren't able to score very many runs over the weekend as well against the Nationals.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? So we have Braves starter Max Fried, first game of the series. So when he starts the series off, his first 5 is actually really, I mean, not great at all. 1-3-3 in the first 5 money line, 1-6 on the run line. Obviously, we wouldn't take the run line in the first 5, but at this price. But would you think taking the Twins in the first 5 money line is a solid look too, or
Yeah.
do you think the full game is more the way to go here?
I couldn't talk you off either way. We'll be curious to see how Bailey Ober does in the first 5 innings at home as well. I think that would be something to look at. But 9-1 straight up.
That first 5 looks pretty solid, dude.
Yeah, couldn't talk you off of it. I think this would be like maybe as my ring light goes out here, but yeah, I couldn't talk you off either way. I like it full game. I could take it first 5 innings as well. I think it's a really solid look. I like the fact that again they're coming off the loss and they're at home.
Yeah,
And like I mentioned, it's just that travel situation for the Braves and their offense hasn't really been clicking right now.
not really consistent. Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, you take a look at the weekend. They scored. I mean, the last time they scored 5 runs or more was all the way back
Angels
against the Angels on 17th, right?
Yeah,
So it's been almost about 10 days
and they were like minus 240 favorites
in a lot of
that
those
game,
games.
too.
Yeah. So
Here's another one that backs that first 5 too. Over first game of the series at home, 4-0 in the first 5.
yeah.
Really
So
solid.
and let me take a look because this is something that we talked about with the Astros that they are always favored in the first 5 innings.
Yeah,
And then they go on to lose.
like
full
where the
game.
line is shaded towards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I see minus 127 for the full game for the Braves. Sorry, for the Twins. I'm sorry. And then it's minus 125 for the first 5 innings. So I think the books are thinking something similar to what we think that they should win the first 5 and then, take care of business in the full
Yeah.
game as well. How's the bullpen been looking for the Twins? I think that'd be something curious.
Twins bullpen's pretty. I mean, they're from like ERA perspective, it's pretty similar. Both got some positive regression looking numbers, and then if we look at some of the home run numbers, I mean, they give up home runs at a pretty decent rate, and that's where a lot the Braves kind of get majority of their runs. Their ISO is up at over 200, 52 home runs in 28 games, so they really rely on that home run ball. So if the Twins give it up, I mean that's opportunity for the Braves.
Yeah.
I mean overall, I mean it's not that bad actually. I mean the numbers are pretty similar, so it's not like the Braves have a significant advantage on the bullpen either. Because they're giving up hits. I mean, 342 BABIP.
Mhm.
Their WHIP is up. I mean, I think either way, for first 5 or full game,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I think probably like split a unit on both.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Dope. All right. I think we did pretty good on that one. I might end up betting it. All right. So the other one was Padres. All right. Padres. So we got Padres, Cardinals, 9.5 total here. I think Padres slight road favorites. You got Vasquez and Gibson. Matchup rating +2 for the Cardinals. We got some systems though on the Padres side. First game on the road for the Padres after what was this 3 series or two series at home. Cardinals coming home after 1 series on the road. I don't see any. I mean, both teams offensively not really that consistent. You can see them struggling, then all of a sudden break out for a 6, a 10. You get a 7 here, 7-5 for the Padres. So neither team really neither team really consistent.
Yeah.
Pitching, Vasquez, you have pretty decent start in the last 2. Struggled against Baltimore here. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs though. Gibson really struggled in this start here. 4 home runs given up, 6 earned runs, 7 total. Had a decent one in his last one against the Brewers though. Let's look at full season. I mean, nothing really significant, or I guess from Gibson in the first 5 as home dogs haven't won one, but yeah, you see Vasquez is 2-0 as a road favorite in the first 5. Unders as home dog for Gibson, over right there 2-0 as a road favorite. If we look at versus right-handed pitcher numbers, I mean, nothing really significant on either side. for overall. But if you see here, home dog, it's the opposite in the first five: 6-3-6, and then 6-9-2. Overs for the Padres, 53-38-2 to the overall. For the full game as road favorites, 10-6-1. But unders here as home dogs for the Cardinals. Let's look at last 30. Offense definitely to the Padres side. 5.5 runs per game compared to 3.9. Barrel rate is low. Not getting a lot of home runs either. All these advanced numbers not looking solid at all. The speed isn't there. I mean, average is okay, 245, but Padres definitely a significant advantage. Neither team really, neither starter strong strikeout pitchers, but neither neither team or neither of the bats are striking out at a high rate. I mean, both of them kind of been struggling for a bit here in their last few starts. Bullpen definitely to the Padres side. So offense and bullpen to the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
I could only look towards, I mean, maybe a Padres team total over or a Padres full game at this
Kyle
point.
Gibson at home. What's 8-3-1 to the over, but they're just 5-7 straight up in his 12 home starts thus far this season. So that kind of tells you that maybe it is a Padres.
So Kyle Gibson at
Team
home,
total over.
7-3-2 to the over. Full game. Starter runs allowed. So he gets past the 5 inning mark pretty consistently.
Mhm.
And when he passes that mark, it goes from 1.5 to 3 runs. So starter runs allowed is 3. So he gives up past that first 5. Overs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the last 8 home games. 2 of them pushed. I mean, I could only look towards like an over. Any thoughts on this one?
Maybe like a Padres first 5 team total over. If it's like 2.5 at plus odds, or it's
Padres
minus,
first?
it's minus 102 both ways actually for Cardinals and the Padres on the over. I think like Padres full game team total over. I look at the Padres side as well for the money line.
Padres money line. Team total over. Yeah, Padres team total over makes a lot of sense to me. I think I would do full game though, just to because it seems like the Cardinals bullpen could probably give up some runs here.
Yeah, see 4.5.
4.5. Damn it. All right, so if you look at Gibson's last 5 starts, you got 6, 9, 6, 14. Only one that didn't go over was the Cubs at 4.5. It does seem like a Padres team total over 4.5. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that would be the look.
All right. I like that one too. Anyone else drop some games here?
Don't see anything else.
I see Cardinals. Cardinals 4.5 team total.
Yeah.
And Blue.
I was looking at the over in the Yankees and Nationals game, or maybe like a Yankees team total over. Gotcha. They've been pretty profitable and doing well against left-handed pitching.
Left-handed pitching? Okay, let's look at that. So Yankees, Nationals, Yankees, heavy road favorites here. Cortez versus Parker. All right, so lefty versus lefty.
Mm-hmm.
A +4 rating on the Yankees side here. Do have a baller system that backs the Yankees as well. First game on the road for the Yankees. And they won 10-3 yesterday after getting blown out 9-2 to the Rockies. Oh, coming from Colorado too. That's interesting. Isn't that a
no,
thing?
They were at home.
Colorado?
Yankees were at home.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, never mind. Yankees at home. Yeah, I just said that. All right, my bad. Nationals. Okay, so Nationals on their side coming off a win against the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
This is first game home off of one series on the road. Cortez, two strong starts, back-to-back starts here. No runs given up. Did struggle here against the Angels. And Parker, strong start here against Colorado. Struggled against Philly. Damn, he gave up a lot. Um, and let's look at the trends. So Cortez as a road favorite, not that strong this season. 2-5-2 in the first five, 2-7 on the full game. But it looks like they're going over a little bit, so maybe he's giving up a ton of runs. And if we go to Parker's side, 5-3 on the full game. Overs in the first five for Parker, 14-8 to the over. If we look at home dog situation versus left-handed pitchers, 5-7-2 first five, 5-9 on the full game. As home dogs specifically, nothing really significant for the Yankee side. Overs though, 6-4 to the over, 8-2 to the over as road favorites on the full game, 7-5-2 to the over as home dogs. Let's look at last 30 days. 3-1 to the over overall in the last 30, but 1-0 to the under as road favorites, 2-0 to the under as home dogs for Parker. 6-2-2 in the first five here. So here's where they're sort of the opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees versus left-handed pitchers last 30 days, 6-4. Nationals just 1-6. Overs here for the Yankees, 7-3 to the over. First five in full game. If we look at the bats, Yankees have the advantage here, 5.7 runs to 4.5. You can see the barrel rate, hard hit rate are all up there. I mean, they're really relying on the home runs. Not a lot of power on the national side either, but their average is solid. They're getting players into running scoring position.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't have a lot of power. Neither team striking out at a high rate either. If we look at the pitching matchup, almost 1 home run per 9 innings for Parker. So there's a chance that they get to him. Cortez's number is actually pretty solid as far as like ERA, FIP, and XFIP. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs either. Man, it seems like Nationals might struggle to score here. Yankees bullpen has been pretty good the last 30 days as well. And then the bullpen for the Nationals do give up one home run per 9 innings. So there's a chance the Yankees get some home runs in this one. I do agree with the team total over on the Yankees side, but that it seems like it would be. Is it 5 or is it still 4.5 and then juice to the over?
I'm pretty sure it's a 5.5. Let me see. Yeah, 5.5 plus 110.
5.5 plus 110. Damn. So we're asking them to score 6. So let's go to Yankees.
First 5 is 2.5 flat.
I think that makes sense to me. I mean, because like I said, their bullpen seems like they give up more home runs than the starter does. So if they can get him out pretty early, that'll have some like strong bats and get his pitch count up early. Then you see the bullpen early. Overs for I was looking at on the road following a home game. So I was looking at travel situation. I'm looking at the chat. Sorry, I see Toast in here. Parker at home last 3 starts has been solid. First 5 under in Washington. First 5 under in Washington. I do think that the Yankees get to the bullpen more than the starter, so that makes sense to me. I mean, but were you thinking run line too from a side perspective, like first 5 run line? because it seems like the Nationals aren't gonna score. So if it's to go over, it would be all on the Yankees side. It seems like.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to back Cortez.
Let me see where he's. So we have Cortez, and then let's say home. And first game of the series. So first 5, solid in the first game of series at home. Full game is okay too, but just one loss there, and unders for the most part. Oh wait, is this the first game of the series?
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the road. My bad. I looked at the wrong.
Yeah,
thing.
he's at. Yeah, sorry.
3-0 to the over.
Scoring
Seems
about
like he's giving up
6
first
combined.
5. Yeah. I don't know, man. This one's tough. You were thinking Yankees team total over 5.5, right?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot. It seems like because they hit 5 right here.
They've only done it once, I think, recently.
Yeah.
That was the last game.
Let's go road favorite. So 12-5 in the first 5, 10-4-1 to the over in the first 5. So if we look at over, it might be the first 5 team total over for the Yankees. Mitchell Parker. Two 2.7 runs in the first 5, and let's say home. He does a little bit better at home in the first 5.
Mm-hmm.
First game of the series, unders. There's too many like counters, I think, in my opinion. Let's go heavy dog. This is the first time over plus 150 as a dog, home dog. Just say home dog in general. It's tight. It's really tight, I think. If I was to bet this, I would try to just lean towards the Yankees' first 5 run line, maybe.
Yeah. I said the bullpen was doing for the Nationals.
Nationals bullpen.
Yeah.
If we look at last 30, Yankees do have the advantage there. A slight advantage. And like I said, the home runs that they're giving up, I think the Yankees could probably get to the bullpen. So I just don't think that the Nationals
Score.
Yeah.
I'd probably look at the Yankee side then, like either team total or just like run line for the game or first 5.
Yeah, first 5 run line for the Yankees probably would be the way I go on this one. But man, also looking at this though, 2 straight starts not giving up a run, that kind of scares me. Like I don't know if I want to back him like that.
Yeah.
Played
Especially
Cleveland.
this first game of a series on the road as well.
Yeah. Cleveland, Chicago. So he smashes on the weak teams though. So I don't know, man. I think this is tough. I would just say Yankees first 5 run line probably. Yeah, that would be the way I go there. What about another game? Any other games? I have time for what time is it? 44. I have time for one more game. I don't see any other game mentioned.
I don't think anybody in the
Yeah.
chat mentioned anything else.
Let's see what other game is there that's pretty solid. What's the late? Is this the late game? Mariners?
Yeah, that's the last game of the night.
Let's just do the last game then.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Last game, Rays versus Mariners. Mariners slight home favorites here. They got Pep versus Miller. Rating system does like the Rays here, and we also have a baller system on the Rays. Rays have been on the road quite a bit though. This is the start of the second series at home for the Mariners. Offense. I mean, neither team really consistent offensively either. So we look at last 5 starts for Pep. He's been really solid. Last 5 starts. Did only give up 1 home run in the last 5. Solid control, pretty decent control here. Miller, he's been pretty good the last 3 starts. Did give up 2 home runs in his last start. Only lasted 4 innings. So, all right. So let's look at full season. Bryce Miller, 14-11 full game. First 5 is a pretty solid spot there. 13-8-4 as home favorite. 6-3 in the full game. Unders as home favorite. 6-3 to the under first 5 in full game. Versus right-handed pitchers. Look at the Rays first 5. 52, 29, and 17 in the first 5 as road dogs. 16, 10, and 6. And then Mariners as home favorites. They take care of business. 25 and 14. Straight up 19, 6, and 4 in the first 5. Unders for both of these teams here. Overall, 54, 36, and 6 in the first 5 to the under. Pretty solid there for a full game as well for the Rays. And then as home favorites specifically, solid unders too. 20, 13, and 6 to the under first 5. 23, 14, and 2 to the under on the full game. Last 30 days. Bryce Miller, first 5, solid. And you can see here, still struggling in the first 5 versus right-handed pitchers. 5, 14, and 2. 5 and 1 in the full game there. A little bit of opposite as far as like totals goes. They're going to the over now in the last 30 days, but still unders full game for the Rays. Batting, Mariners have the advantage there, but I mean, I still don't trust their offense. Especially both of these teams kind of striking out at a high rate. Miller has a higher K per 9.
Yeah.
44 steals. So if they get on base, they have opportunities to score because they can get in scoring position, but they don't have a lot of power at all. A lot of negative regression here for Pep. Bryce Miller's numbers look pretty consistent, neither giving up home runs at a high rate. All right, so Rays bullpen has been really good. Slight room for negative regression, but overall, they have the advantage there. If I was to bet this one, I would probably look towards the Mariners in the first 5. Some of the numbers kind of point in that direction, fading the Rays in the first 5. Last 30 days and on the full season was a spot, and then also Bryce Miller, 4-1 in the first 5 as well. I would look towards that, and we see some negative regression on Pep, more so on him than the bullpen. So I would stay away from the bullpen situation. Yeah, Mariners first 5 for me or nothing. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Mariners are usually the look at home. I know first game of the series. I think we've talked about this a lot. It's cooled off a little bit. I think they're just 3-3 since the All-Star break in that first game of a home series, but I think they've been one of the more profitable teams at home in the first game of the series, 16-5 straight up. I think this number, the total opened up at 7.5. I think now it's down to 7. I liked it at 7.5 to the under. But again, this is going to be another, I think, Mariners first 5 or full game Mariners. Bryce Miller's been pretty good at home for the Mariners, and I think people are pointing out in the chat as well that them coming off that Dodgers series for the Rays maybe took a little bit out of them getting up for that game and now having to travel up to Seattle. So, and Seattle again not having to travel, they were at home this weekend as well. So I look at the Mariners side here if you want to go first 5 money line, or if you want to get some plus odds on that run line. I couldn't talk you off of that.
Yeah, I know. Toast said he's on Mariners first 5, so and he's one of the guys I trust in the baseball field too. So definitely on the. Seems like we're kind of looking towards the same side here. I just want to look at one more thing. So Mariners. Oh, so this is what you were talking about. Mariners first game of the series at home.
Yeah.
16-5 straight up full game. 14-5-2 on the first 5. You can see that the first 5 run line as a favorite 11-5, so a little bit better than on the full game run line. But even at this number, we're just asking them to win, right?
Mhm.
Is it minus 120 still or so? So yeah,
I see
first
up to
game of the
minus
series.
130s now.
Let's see, Rays first game of the series on the road. Mm, First game of the series on the road, they're actually okay, 8-7-5, but full game 7-13, 5-3-5. I mean, what would the team total under be 3.5
For Rays.
for the Rays?
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, but it's minus 150 on the
Mm-hmm.
under. Yeah.
All right, so if you look at first game of the series at home, Mariners 2.5 for their opponent, and let's say starter. Not a single game where he gave up 3. Look at that point 4 in the first 5 and then 1.6 in the full game.
Mm-hmm.
All unders, 4-1. I would say, yeah, Bryce Miller. Sorry, Mariners first 5, and maybe even look towards the Rays team total under in the full game.
Yep. First 5. That 1.5 makes you nervous of the first 5 team total, but I could see the 3.5 for the full game.
Yeah, 3.5 for the full game. It's juiced to the under though, huh?
Yeah, it was minus 150, at least what I've seen. But again, shop around obviously get the best number of
Yeah.
it, but it's probably going to be
Okay.
up there north of minus 140.
Yeah, I might end up playing this one too. First 5 money line, Rays team total under. All right. So with that said, I mean, we went through a pretty good amount of games today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop sharing. There you go. And then real quick before we go to top looks, themoneyballer.com. Make sure you guys check out the website. It's a site we use primarily today to handicap the games. You saw all the stats, trends, insights, all the models and all that stuff that we add to it too as well. I mean, overall, the MLB rating system, if I know you've been following it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Typically, the 5s and greater have been doing pretty well this season, hitting it over, I believe it's over 63% for 5s and ups, 5 and ups. And then yesterday, though, really bad one. There was a +8 that lost, and I think the 8s now are 2-1 or 3-2. One of those. It's 7 and 8s that are you don't see them a lot, so it's hard to kind of use that percentage. But it doesn't happen too often. They ended up losing yesterday, but overall, anything with a 5+ has been pretty solid this season.
Mm-hmm.
Very profitable. So hopefully, if you guys have the Money Baller a subscription, you guys are utilizing the rating system, and then kind of do what we do on the show, kind of make sure that the trends and the stats align with the rating system as well. And then also the Discord. The Discord is free, themoneyballer.com/Discord. You'll see it at the bottom of the page on the website. So you can go there. It's free. You don't need a subscription to go there. Some people are, providing some stats and trends like GB bets. Munaf, I know you mentioned something yesterday or today as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to pop in once in a while as well. So to add some stuff when I have time. Yeah, I think that's it for the moneyballer.com. Make sure you guys check it out. Just try it out if you want to do a 7-day trial or whatever it might be. It's over there. You have an opportunity to do that. All right, let's go to the top looks. All right, Munaf, let's start with you here first.
I think it's the first game we talked about the Twins. If you want to go Twins first 5 innings money line, or if you want to go full game money line, Bailey Ober at home has been really, really solid for the Twins throughout this season. I think this is an opportunity for them. I just love the spot, right? They're coming off a loss. They're at home. They slept in their own bed, so not a travel situation for them.
Mhm.
Nationals coming off that series against the Braves, divisional game. Now having to travel up to Minnesota. I think this is a good spot here for the Twins. Twins have been pretty good as well against left-handed pitching throughout the season, especially at home here. So I'm going to back Bailey over here. First 5, I'm going to split a unit, first 5 innings money line, and then full game money line for the Twins.
I like it. All right, so for me, I'm going to go to I'm a back Seattle in baseball and then fade Seattle in the W. So I'm gonna do the Mystics as the top look for the WNBA. Some things that we talked about there, the travel or not travel situation, rest versus rust, and also the fact that the Mystics defense has been really solid since the Olympic break, and the Storm offense is probably going to have some adjustments, just have some type of adjustment period with Gabby coming back and them figuring out the rotation. One thing that the Sun, like, I mean, just thinking about from a coaching perspective, if you think about bringing someone in first game who's an impact player, think about like the Connecticut Sun. They brought in Marina Mabry. They ended up benching Dewana Bonner, who is their
Hmm.
one of their key offensive players,
Yeah.
just so that they could figure out their rotation. I mean, I don't think they're going to do something like that with the Storm, but at the same time, that just shows how important it is to figure out rotations early on when a key player comes into a lineup, like Gabby Williams. So I'm expecting something like that, and then also the Mystics defense to hold down the Storm as well. So Mystics plus the 10 there, and then on the bases, we talked about this in the last one. Backing Miller and fading Pep's negative regression as well. It seems like that is the spot. The trends pointing in that direction, especially how the Mariners do first game of the series at home. A lot of the numbers point to that, and also maybe I might even add that Rays team total under 3.5 on the full game. Um, because a lot of the trends pointed towards that as well. So those would be the top looks for me. And I definitely appreciate everyone that popped in today. I know I see a lot of familiar names. So hopefully you guys continue to stick around, continue watching the show and supporting the show. If you can, just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you guys drop some comments after the show as well. That helps with the algo to push my show out a little bit more as well. And then obviously I always appreciate you coming on, especially last minute, like how today was. If you want to, I know you have NFL's coming up. Totally forgot. Are you doing college football as well over at SGPN, or is this?
No, it's just NFL player props primarily. We have a whole college group of guys there that handicap basketball, baseball, football for
Yeah.
college experience. So if you want to check those guys out, they're entertaining as hell. So if you want to tap in with them, and like I already mentioned, me and Chris is doing strictly player props for the NFL. We have 2 division previews left for season player props, and then next week we'll be talking about NFL Week 1. So definitely excited.
Dope. I love it. And then obviously NFL is coming up, so we just want to make sure everyone remembers that the NFL beta page is up on the moneyballer.com. And then our guy Austin A. Wang, who's part of the team, he put together a preview for every single team. So we're gonna be
Whew.
launching he smashed every single team for the preview page. And then the cool thing about it is too, like how in the beginning of the season we had the previews, and then our model doesn't really kick in until week 3. So what we're gonna do is actually have our preview page on every team connected to our matchup page, so you can kind of go back, because it's gonna be a balance of last season's trends and stats,
Mhm.
and then what are the expected changes based on coaching and roster makeup and all that stuff too. So kind of balancing that in the first 3 weeks until the model kicks in, and then yeah, really excited for NFL season. We signed up for the Circa Millions. I was there last week, and oh yeah, I was there last week, and then he signed up for the Circa, so we signed up as the money baller. So hopefully we kill it. I know 2 seasons ago, the first time I was really close to cashing a quarter. So hopefully we actually do that again. I know winning it all is hella crazy. So I'm just trying to reach small goals. Just let me get a
Yep.
quarter. Let me just get a quarter. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something today, and you guys come back and watch the show again. We'll be back tomorrow and the rest of the week. I think Friday might be an issue, but I'll let you guys know if I do a show or not. And then yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. And I always have to end the show like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.